They have, 450 motorcycles on display. If you like Harley Davidson, they have the Harley Davidson Museum because this is the home and the heart of Harley Davidson. It has a riverside promenade that's being built along three waterways. They have the district down there, which basically is, getting, hotels and concerts and other things like that. This is quite a great city for many of the arts to go and to see. Hi, this is Anita from the Dusty Roads podcast. Today I'm going to talk about someplace which is a little bit closer to home for me, and in particular, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I grew up outside Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Well, actually, when I say grew up, I, probably moved here when I was maybe about 9 years old. So I spent most of my, formative years in Milwaukee until I left to go out west to college. But recently in the National Geographics, they had like some of the top spots in the world to travel for 2023. And Milwaukee, Wisconsin made one of the top spots for, they said, slow travel in 2023. And this was quite a great honor because only 5 places in the United States even made this list, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin made one of the lists. This was interesting for those of us who kind of grew up in Milwaukee because a lot of times Milwaukee used to get a pretty bad rap. I remember when I was young and you'd go downtown and there was this smell of, some of the factories there, and there's some really high polluters that were down there because it was pretty much an industrial city. So Milwaukee sort of had this bad rap of sort of being this bad city, and it's gotten a lot of bad press lately too for being a very unsafe city. But yet there are some really beautiful parts of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I've been going downtown a lot more lately. Any of you that have been listening to this podcast know that I've been sailing quite a bit lately, and I've gone there and I've been sailing there because they have one of the best community sailing centers in the nation. But not only that, they have a lot of other great things. They have, 450 motorcycles on display. If you like Harley Davidson, they have the Harley Davidson Museum because this is the home and the heart of Harley Davidson. It has a riverside promenade that's being built along 3 waterways. They have the district down there, which basically is, getting, hotels and concerts and other things like that. This is quite a great city for many of the arts to go and to see, a play or go hear the Milwaukee Symphony. For being, sort of a smaller city, they have some really great arts that go on downtown. We have a wonderful art museum, and they're building a new art museum downtown. And you're also able to do quite a bit in the downtown area on the lake. Like I said, I sail a lot on Lake Michigan, a beautiful lake to sail on. When I'm out there, I see a lot of people, they're out there and they're fishing. And this is a great place to be able to go out onto the fishing boats and to be able to catch a lot of salmon and trout out on the Great Lakes. It's also, they've got a great, public market downtown. There's, shopping, other things that you can see. You can also kayak along the river, along some of the Milwaukee rivers. You go down there, you can kayak. So, for being a town that, was once a big industrial city, that was once, this hub of the sort of like the industrial world, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, won one of the coveted prizes, I guess you could call, from the National Geographic to put them down as one of the top places to travel in 2023. I tend to agree with the National Geographics, and I feel like Milwaukee is a great place to travel. But one of the things most people are going to ask is Milwaukee safe? And will I be safe if I go there? If you are looking to travel to the United States from another country, I would have to say that safety in any major city in the United States is a concern. I've said to many people, living now in Hanoi, Vietnam, and spending a lot of time in Hanoi, Vietnam, there's many cities in Asia where I would go to any part of the city, anytime, day or night, and not have to worry about things like gun violence, being shot, carjacking, or other things like that. So for a city like Milwaukee, there are parts of the city which I've never gone into and I'll never go into just because those parts of the city would be too dangerous. There are dangerous parts of the city. So like any major city that you decide to travel to in the United States, my advice would be that you really need to know and understand which parts of the city you can safely go into and which ones you should not go into. And this is true of any city, whether it's Los Angeles, whether it's New York, whether it's Chicago, or whether it is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There's going to be parts of the city which are going to be lovely, which are going to be relatively safe, and there'll be parts of the city which really will not be safe at all. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as far as safety goes, there are quite a few murders and crimes that happen here. But this is a quote from a group called the Neighborhood Scout that said, "How does the crime rate in Milwaukee compare to similar sized communities across America? When Neighborhood Scout compared Milwaukee with other communities its size, we found that the crime rate was near the average for all other communities of similar size. So whether Milwaukee's crime rate is high or low compared to all places in the U.S., when we control for population size and compare it to places that are similar in size, it is near the middle of the pack in crime rate, not much more or less dangerous, and about what we would expect from the statistics." So in other words, even though Milwaukee has gotten, for some people, some bad press, they said it's not a safe city, it's a murder capital, lots of murders going on here, lots of crime going on here. According to this website, Neighborhood Scout, they've said that Milwaukee is basically in the middle. It's not like it's a super safe city, it's not a super dangerous city, it's right in the middle. So if you're going to, visit a city like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or, this is true for any major city you're going to visit, even if you're American and you live in a small town, you're going to go visit New York City. This is all, advice for everybody that you really need to understand where you're going. And you don't want to go into the areas where the violence is. Because Milwaukee does have violent crimes like murder, robberies against personal and other property. But there are also many parts of downtown Milwaukee which are safe or relatively safe. They've gotten cleaned up. I've gone downtown many times in day and during the nighttime to go to the Milwaukee Sailing Center. I've always felt relatively safe there, but I'll always make sure that I'll lock my car and I'll check around and check around my surroundings. I know quite a few friends that have moved from the suburbs to the downtown area, and they've told me that the areas that they live, they really enjoy, and that they love living down in downtown Milwaukee, and they feel that it is relatively safe for them. So if you really feel like determining whether a city is safe or not safe for you, your number one thing you need to do is take the correct safety precautions, and you need to really understand where you can go in that city or where you should not go. Because, there are major city parts of a lot of cities in the United States where you should never go, even accidentally don't go there because you could end up in trouble. So in talking about Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it getting on the National Geographic's one of the best places to visit, I tend to agree. It's a great city. The city has a lot to offer. So if you're going to come visit here, make sure you stay in an area that is a relatively safe area. Ask the hotel. Make sure it is. Check around. Make sure that you're staying. And, that when you walk, take the necessary precautions at night. Make sure you lock your car and look around at your surroundings. In the Visit Milwaukee guide, it said this: "Milwaukee prides itself on being a place that welcomes all people. No matter who you are or what you celebrate, Milwaukee has something for you." From the bikes to Harley Davidson's motorcycles to catching a show at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra to rocking out at Summerfest or walking through booths at the Juneteenth Day Festival to sipping on authentic beer at German Days, the extraordinary culture of Brew City is one that can be experienced at any time throughout the year. Milwaukee is a place where unique unites. So I agree. Milwaukee is a lovely city to come visit if you want to check it out, and a city that's been rated as a top place to visit in 2023 by National Geographic's. Do come to Milwaukee, check it out, enjoy the beautiful Lake Michigan that we have here, and enjoy and experience this wonderful town. If you'd like to read our blog about how safe is downtown Milwaukee, we'll put the blog in the description. And if you decide to come here, welcome and enjoy Milwaukee and take the time to enjoy this great city. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll also put a link in our blog, A Bus on a Dusty Road, if you'd like to find out more about other parts of the world, or just to be able to explore living your life as a global citizen, because this is all about living our life as a global citizen. Thank you to our team who helped put this podcast together, to Rico. And thank you for listening. We appreciate you, our listeners.